Hi. When we talk about decoding the disconnect and cracking the communication code, whether it be in our home life with our families or teenagers, whether it be in the workplace, this is the channel that's going to give you the go-to information. I wanted to start off with something that has really been a challenge for me, and that is nonprofit organizations that are struggling with using artificial intelligence. I wanted to create this video because there have been a couple of places that have called me out to train, and I've just not been able to do it. So this video is going to settle that not being able to really support organizations who need the support and the help around artificial intelligence. It's like it's a taboo in the social service and nonprofit worlds. Many places are reluctant to use it primarily because they just don't know what to expect. Well, I'm hoping to decode the disconnect and crack the communication code around using artificial intelligence. So today I'm going to be sharing some practical uses for artificial intelligence. My name is Twanda Clark. I spent over 30 years in the child welfare profession as a child welfare professional in nonprofits and social service organizations across the state, both New York and NPA. My focus has always been on older child adoption, and I've done a lot of work with trafficking and just worked the whole gamut of everything. And what I have come to know and believe is that artificial intelligence is the difference between working smarter and strategically versus working harder. I know after 30 years in a child welfare profession, one of the things that was the most difficult thing to do was to get home to my family. So today I'm going to be sharing a few AI tools that will get you started in the nonprofit and social service organization. A special apology to any organization that I promised that I would make it out to and didn't have an opportunity to do that. I am going to be sharing with you tools. And if you decide that you'd like to follow up by contracting with me to come in and actually do training through your organization or for your organization, I so would love to do that. But what I'm hoping, and I hate using the word empower, but I want to be able to empower social service organizations to understand the practical uses of using AI and why it is so important for organizations to use it if you're not already using it. For a lot of nonprofits and social service organizations that operate in the county that I'm currently in, they are not using it. And as you can see, this little PowerPoint with social workers around the table and a little AI setting, and it's a cartoon version, was actually created with AI. I'm going to talk to you even about how to minimize your workload very quickly by using AI. This particular mechanism that I'm using for PowerPoint, I'm going to show you how to use that in another video if you stay tuned when I talk about actually cracking the communication code and being able to communicate with people on various different levels. Whether you want to crack the communication code in your personal life at home, maybe it's talking with your teenager, or maybe you see the parallel at work if you're an administrator and you see that the employees act a lot like your teenager. So we'll talk about that. But why does AI matter for social service organizations? Well, one, it streamlines documentation. It gives us an opportunity to document and have things documented and document it and have things documented. Those of us that have been in the field for a long time know that if it was not documented, it did not happen. So documentation is key. For many of us, we go through countless meetings that don't have the appropriate minutes or notes. But I do have AI tools that will teach you how to actually take or will take notes for you that are appropriate. I won't be sharing those tools in this particular video, but in another video, I'll show why it's important to use those particular AI tools. And then you have access to best practices. It's always documented. It's in the forefront so people can always see it. You don't have to search for it. AI helps us to put things right in front of people so they don't have an opportunity to get lost in the sauce. And then you can enhance client safety. I did a lot of work with teenagers, was always looking for ways to not give advice, but to give information in a way that the teens wanted to hear me. AI gives us fancy tools and strategies to be able to do that. And then professional development, which is what I consider this training to be right now, gives you the opportunity to develop as you are as a professional. One of the things that I've realized is I know a lot more since I've retired from my child welfare profession to run my training and consulting business full time, primarily because I have more time on my hands than I had it when I was in the trenches working constantly day in and day out. I didn't have time or energy to do anything extra. So, for my social work, nonprofit colleagues who are still in the field, this is for you. I've done the research, I've lightened the load, I'm making things easier for you so that you may not have the time because you're doing a direct practice, you're actively supporting clients or the families that you work with. So I'm doing this so that I can decrease your workload. There are some golden rules of AI in social services. The foundation of social work is built on trust, confidentiality, and ethical practices. That is front load and foremost what we are about: trust, confidentiality, and ethical practices. And when we're integrating AI into our workflows, these principles must remain paramount. So we never include client names, initials, or any identifying information. We use we're never going to use specific addresses, phone numbers, or contact details, case numbers, or file identifiers. We're never going to use unique identifying details or rare conditions. The information by HIPAA continues to be protected under health information or personally identifiable information. Now, I want to say this because I think it's really important. Many of the social service organizations that I have been working with, one of the things that they say is that they know AI is here, but they don't want to use it. They've put protocols in place in the workplace so that the workers are not using it. Guess what? The workers are using it. I've been called in by many organizations that were not supposed to be using it. And I have been teaching nonprofits and social service organizations how to use these methods of AI in a very ethical way. All right. When the nonprofit organization, social service organization takes the lead, they prevent things that they don't want to happen from happening. When you start to train your staff on what is best practice, you don't have to worry about the protocols being lost. So we want to always use generic placeholders. Instead of using clients' names, we're going to say client A, the youth or the family. We're never putting their personal information in. We're going to use general age ranges instead of specific ages. A child somewhere between the age of 10 and 12. Broad locations or descriptors. It was in the east part of town, the west part of town, the north part of town. De-identified scenarios that apply to multiple cases. All right. If it's a woman, change it to a man. If it's an older girl, change it to a younger boy. So we're going to change the information. We never put client information into AI. And we ask AI to do very specific things for us when we're prompting it. And I'll go over what some of those specific things are that we're going to ask AI to do. The core tools for social workers. Now, these are just very generic tools that I use on a regular basis. When I come in to do a training with organizations, I go through more specific tools that are specific to child welfare and social service organizations that they can use those if they're really concerned about client information. But these tools have worked perfectly with the organizations that I train for the things that they want to do. And primarily, it's a way of simplifying documentation, making the documentation a lot easier to do. There used to be this constant battle in child welfare. People were either very good at engaging families and youth, or they were very good with the paperwork. We don't have to worry about that anymore. They can be good at both, okay? Because we can work with them and train them to do that. And if they're not good with the paperwork, guess what? They don't have to be, because AI will be good with the paperwork for them. There are three AI platforms that stand out for their practical application in social services. Each offers a unique strengths that can enhance different aspects of the social workers of the work that social workers are doing. So ChatGPT and OpenAI. All right, ChatGPT by OpenAI, right? And when I come in to work with organizations, I show you how to train the model so it's specific to your information, but to change the settings so that you're not training other individuals or other models. So ChatGPT open for AI is best for general purposes like writing, assistance and brainstorming, creating templates. I have done a lot of lesson planning with OpenAI. In fact, I'll do a lesson plan for you today to help you with that. I'll do two things from each one of the tools, generating client education materials, quick drafting of correspondence and reports. So one of the things that I use AI with is understanding the various DISC styles. So I do DISC training because I'm an expert in communication. I'm always paying attention to those communication patterns, and DISC is one of the things that help me do that. But in addition to DISC, AI also helps me leverage the communication style that people might maybe have a deficit in. Perplexity AI is great for research, finding current client cited information, locating evidence based practices and interventions, understanding new policies and regulations, and finding age appropriate resources for specific topics. What's unique about each one of these particular AI tools is you don't have to just type the information in anymore. You can actually speak directly in it. Now, in today's video, I won't have a lot of time to teach you how to do that, but you can certainly do a follow-up video and watch another one of my videos where I'll go right into how to actually talk to the models to get the information that you want back. Claude AI by Anthropic is becoming one of my favorite tools because it can really create very practical hand guides and things for social service organizations. It's best for complex analysis and thoughtful responses, ethical decision making and support in case consultation, creating comprehensive documentation, analyzing complex case scenarios with nuanced understandings. So these are some of the core responsibilities that the AI tools can be used for to help child welfare and social service organizations. I talked before about the importance of documentation and note taking in the child welfare industry, in the child welfare field. If it was not documented, it didn't happen. AI can take your raw notes and it can literally turn it into a book. It can take your raw notes and turn them into that report that you need for court. Knowing how to prompt. I'm going to talk to you a lot about prompting. You'll see me do some prompting here. My way of prompting is to treat AI like it's my friend and like it's my assistant. It knows me, it knows what I need, and it creates quality of work. Professional SOAP notes. So subjective, objective assessment and the plan. It can create that, and it can create templates for anything else that you might need. So it transforms your notes, very loose notes, into professional documentation. I have done a lot of this training with caseworkers, and I've showed them how to complete documentation. One of the things that I remember about being in the field when I was working with staff as an administrator is there would be people who would fall behind in their paperwork, primarily because they weren't good writers. They didn't know how to document. This makes it fun because they don't have to do much at all, and it just creates the contact summary or the note for them. But again, we want to remind our workers not to put any information that is pertinent to the client, that the client that it might identify the client. We want to be very careful about that. I worked with teams. I told you that. That was a lot of my work. Being able to communicate with teams, I loved it. I taught public speaking, and I also still teach public speaking to children in the juvenile justice and child welfare system. But there are ways that we need to teach children to be safe. And they don't want to hear from you and I. Nobody my age, nobody your age. They don't want to hear because teens know it all. You didn't know that? They know it all. So there's a way that we want to give information, but not give advice. AI gives me strategies. I can come up with strategies on safety tips, way to give information, but not at all giving advice. Those are some things that we want to remember. AI tools specific to child welfare that I'm not going to cover in this training, but you can look up or you can wait, call me in to do an extensive training with you, or you can just look these up on your own. They're beyond the general AI assistants or specialized tools, and they're continuing to emerge specifically for child welfare practice. And while these tools continue to evolve, several show promise for enhancing social work practice in meaningful ways. One of the things that I always felt happened in the social service industry is something that was supposed to help to make your workload easy. It was so difficult to learn before you could get to the part where it was actually easy for you to learn to actually implement it in your work. You had to go through so much. What I like about the tools that I'm going to be giving to you today is that they're very easy. There's not a learning curve. It's very short. Predictive analytics is one of the things that some of the counties that I work with are using. It's an AI power tool and it can analyze patterns and case data to support risk assessment decisions. These tools should always be used as decision support aids, never as replacements for professional judgment. Now, what I have heard is that it has helped to mitigate some of the biases by using these predictive analytics, automated documentation, specialized platforms that can integrate with case management systems to streamline reporting, generate compliant documentation, and ensure timely completion of required forms and notes, things that are needed. I remember when we would get an audit, okay? And if you've been in the field for any period of time, you always have an audit coming up for various grants from the county agency. The documentation piece was always something that most people were a little nervous about because you had some workers that were very good at it and some workers who were not. What makes this wonderful is that we don't have to worry about that anymore because we can streamline the process to make sure that all of our documentation is exactly the way that it needs to be. Resource matching. If I can share a little side note with you, my mom had a problem with her dentures. I don't think she'll mind if I tell you this. And I needed to get her an emergency appointment. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was able to use one of the AI tools, talking directly into it, and it told me exactly where I could go to get 24-hour services for my mother. It's a resource. It can help you to match families with appropriate services and resources based on their specific needs, their location, and eligibility criteria. It reduces search time and increases successful connections. All right. So if we need specific resources, it helps us to do this in a very timely manner. Training and simulation. Virtual reality. So this is my wheelhouse. I do a lot in training. I believe in simulation, and this has helped me up my game. I have videos that I use for training and simulation. These are virtual reality, AI-driven simulation platforms that provide safe environments for workers to practice difficult conversations, crisis intervention, and decision-making scenarios. So this really does help us to integrate a training platform that is significant and supportive to the workers that are going to be using it. Evaluating child welfare AI tools. So we want to make sure that there's bias and equity, that it's free from bias, and that there's equity in the tools that we're using. Has it been tested for racial, socioeconomic, and other biases, and does it promote equitable outcomes? Is there transparency? Can you understand how the AI reaches its recommendations? That's one of the things I like about Perplexity. It's going to show you the information that it's researched, data security. And so I've talked a lot about how we are using it ethically, how we're protecting the client information. But when I come in, I actually show you which settings to turn off so that you're not training other models or providing other information. And then professional oversight. Even though it provides a plethora of information, we still need the professionals who have studied this information, who are practitioners in trauma, understand what trauma informed practices are, understand ACEs and things of that nature. It supports the enhanced ability of the social worker. However, it is not in lieu of the social worker. So AI, in spite of what you heard, is not here to replace you. It is here to enhance what you are currently doing. And then agency fit. Does the tool integrate with your existing systems and workflows? Is it practical for your team? We have so many tools, and I know because I bought quite a few of them. Some of them, they weren't practical for the work that I was doing. They were fun, but it didn't really serve a purpose. What I realized about my AI colleagues is that I've been able to shorten this load for you because I know what it's like to be in the field. When you get home, after you've dealt with everyone else's family, you have your own family to deal with, and there's not much energy left. What I've done is I've actually provided a practical guide. I have an ebook for you that you can access below this particular video that'll give you additional information. And that will support you in the materials. But you will also have this video that's evergreen that you can come back to if you want to refer to some of the information that I've provided. Some things that you need to know that I do personally, in addition to doing videos, I come in and I transform your organization. I consider myself a communication expert. I help you crack communication codes, eliminate the barriers of ineffective communication in social service organizations and even in your personal life too. I provide hands-on workshops. Uh, we talk about ethics and the first approach. We have a deep focus on confidentiality and responsible AI use. Child welfare expertise, because I spent over 30 years in child welfare. I have a specialized content for those working with vulnerable children and families. I've not only been the trainer, the sage on the stage, the guide on the side. I've been frontline working in this field with young people, hearing firsthand from them about what it is that they need. I've worked with young people in their most vulnerable situations in child welfare, so there's a lot that I can share. One of the things that people have said about me training their organization is that I understand what their needs are while also having an expertise or an enthusiasm for AI as well. I provide practical templates, but not just that, I show you how to create practical templates for your team by using AI. And then one of the other things that you have from me, if you're working with me, if you call me in through your organization or you're a part of my school community, you also have that ongoing support from me with using these tools, helping you problem solve some situations that you may be having with difficult teens, which is my specialty. I would very much like to work with you, and you can get in touch with me at trainwithtawanda at lightsocialchangeagents.com or lightsocialchangeagents.com is the website, and you can certainly access that link below if you'd like to continue to harness the power of AI so that you're not replaced, but you in your work is enhanced. All right, so that pretty much sums up the slides for us today. But what I do want to do is take a little bit of time and I want to share some of the AI tools with you so you can see exactly how they work for your particular profession. I'm going to go to ChatGPT first and I want to talk to you about each one of the plans. One of the things that child welfare professionals are always concerned about is money. And I understand because when I was a child welfare professional, I didn't make a lot of money. I didn't make a lot at all. But one of the things that I did read very early on Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I learned a couple of things from him. One, you never work a job for the money, but the experience that you could learn. I got a lot of valuable experiences from my job. And first, in fact, it became my first investor. The second thing that I am going to share with you is the importance of investing in yourself. I was always top tier trainer in my organization because I paid to go back to learn additional skills and additional training, and that set me apart. And so whether you're thinking that you're going to go into leadership or management or you're going to come out and start your own business, what I can tell you is that the investment in yourself is very important. With that being said, ChatGPT does offer a free version. This is the paid version. It's about $60 a month because it's for an organization and it has everything about my organization. It can literally introduce you to me or me to you. All right. But I want to just show you how this works for nonprofit organizations. So let's just say that you are out of school placement time and you need a lesson plan. I'm going to say, help me, okay, me create a lesson plan for youth 9 through 12, teaching them the foundations of communication along with creating a YouTube channel. Please add vocabulary and outcomes. This is a 90-minute session. Now, if you're paying attention to the way that I have done this, you can see the red here where there are things that I need to fix. Now, ordinarily, if I wasn't doing this video with you, I wouldn't fix those things. I would just put them in. All right. And I'm going to just hit the arrow. And if you're working in out of school time placement or if you need an activity, this is something that it'll come up with. It says find your voice, communication basics, and becoming a YouTuber with purpose. Ah, I like that. All right. And as you can see, it's for age groups 9 to 12, duration 90 minutes, group size 8 to 20, materials needed, tells you everything you need there. And then it goes into what the big idea is. Your voice matters and how you use it can help people, not hurt them. All right. And then these are the learning outcomes that we're going to get: session flow, welcome and voice warm up, everything that's here. This is actually a pretty good lesson plan that I am going to use. YouTube 101, being a creator with purpose, 20 minutes. All right. And it breaks down the timeline, as you can see. Okay. And this is for maybe my out of school time placement providers, maybe my educators who are looking for something that may enhance what they're doing. And I can use several different formats of this particular lesson plan if I chose to. But I just wanted to give you an example of how we could create something that was relatively quickly. If you'd like a copy of this lesson plan, then go ahead and tell me in the chat. Or you know what? You can borrow this prompt and you can put it in and create your own lesson plan for whatever you'd like for it to be. I am curious to know how many child welfare professionals I do have out there that are looking at the content, that they're paying attention to it, and are thinking that, hey, you know what, this could work. I'm planning to use this as a nonprofit professional. So please talk to me in the chat. Let me know how I can be of assistance to you, how I can make your workload just a little bit easier. We're going to get ready to go into Perplexity now. That's the next tool that I'm going to use. Again, Perplexity does come with a free plan, and I will be using that free plan today. So this is free. I haven't upgraded with Perplexity. I don't use Perplexity as much. This is actually a resource tool. So I'm going to say this. ACEs is something that we hear a lot about in the child welfare profession. ACEs are adverse childhood experiences. I'm going to say, give me 5 tips to support teens that are challenged with a high ACE score. Show me your data. Okay. And it's going to give me those tips of what is, and I should have put evidence based because we like evidence based in the nonprofit world. 5 tips to support teens, five evidence based tips. How about I say that? 5 evidence based tips to support teens that are challenged with high ACE scores. Show me the research and the data. All right. So we're here and we're going to give it a few minutes, but it's not as long as it would take our secretary or somebody to actually research and find this information. It's going to give it to us relatively quickly. All right. Um, so here we go. It says build at least one stable, attuned relationship, integrate trauma informed regulation first practices, offer evidence based skills focused on interventions, intentionally increase positive childhood experiences, reduce ongoing stressors, and connect to resources. All right. So these are things that in the field as child welfare professionals we'd want to know about. This is information that would help us in doing our work. Now, many of us, like myself, have done this work, have had hands-on hands experience. And for a lot of people, they have the experience, but they don't know what to connect it to. So this is the theory behind the practice, right? So I, certainly know that many of the professionals out there may not be well versed in theory, but you're very well versed in the practice. It's important that you have both and that you know both. And, working with AI certainly does help us leverage, give us that skill. So let's just say this. Let's just say that you wanted to create a tip sheet for your workers based off of those that information that Perplexity provided. All right. And I'm going to take just one of those for the purposes of time. And I'm going to copy it from Perplexity. All right. And I'm going to, so that you can watch and see what I'm doing. I'm going to copy it from Perplexity. All right, so here it is. It's copied from Perplexity. I'm just going to take the first tip for the purposes of time. I'm going to copy it from Perplexity. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to, oh wow, Claude isn't up here. I thought I had it up here. So I'm going to go ahead and I did, here's Claude right here. And Claude will be coming up in just a minute or two. And here's Claude. I'm going to take that information in Claude. And before I, actually copy it in, I'm going to say, please create a polished report to share with caseworkers around the following information. Provide activities to support the information. All right. So we're going to do that. And we're just going to paste that information right in. And again, this is just a template. I'm just, because I'm not with you in person, I don't know what your specific needs are. But let me just tell you this. I have worked with organizations, and one of the fun things that I did with a particular organization with the state of nonprofits, they were really worried about their funding. So she wanted each one of her workers to use the tool of their choice that I had taught them and come up with a sustainability plan that would help them. And she would vote on what the best plan was. I love this. We had so much fun doing it. Each one of the workers, and this was her administrative team, of course, went into why they thought this particular tool was their tool of choice, why they were using this tool. Okay. And then they had to actually do a presentation because with me, everything is communication. So we're going to present. They had to present why they were using that particular tool. And she voted on which tool she was going to be using in terms of what she was going to have in practice for her sustainability plan. Now, Claude is taking time, and let me tell you what it's doing. It's actually researching, it's actually putting everything that I said together. And if you notice, Claude's taking a little bit more time than maybe what ChatGPT did or what Perplexity did. It's taking a little bit more time to format its decision making process. One of the things that I do when I come in to work with teams, because teams, I've been prompting for a long time, so I know exactly what to say and how to say it. And really, prompting, people try to make it a big deal. It really is just talking to the model so that you get what you want. What I have found, interesting enough, is when I'm working with groups, older people tend to be direct and right to the point. They get the prompt that they want. I can have people plug in the same prompt and they can just a specific word can throw off the way that they've prompted things. So if your organization is wanting just a little bit more support, hand holding in doing this, we certainly can do that. I do have a school community. I will be giving you, and you can see what it's doing right here. It's actually formatting everything, right? It's working, it's formatting, it's thinking, it's putting it together, and we're going to see what it comes up with. Now, sometimes it will come up with a very elaborate report, and sometimes it may not. But this is if you want to give quick information, quick handouts, you are preparing documents for your team, you want them to have something, this will certainly help you put those things together so that you're able to do it. As you can see, it's continuing to talk. Now, what I want you to do right now is if you've not done this, please like this video. If you like this and you want to get additional content or information, you can subscribe to the channel. It is Cracking the Communication Code, whether it be in your home life, your personal life, or in the community or at work. We help you crack the communication code. And many times, some of the barriers that are ineffective in our communication transcend in many of our different phases of life. So we certainly do support you in being able to do that. AI is one of those tools that I think helps to make us better communicators. It cleans up a lot of the things that we would be spending a lot of busy time doing. and it helps us get right to the point so that we can create what we want to create. Now, what I should have said when we were creating this document is please don't make it be a number of pages because we only have a certain amount of time. But Claude is moving through nonetheless. And it is, taking its time creating this. So I want you to think about right now any questions that you might have. I want to encourage you to put those questions right in the chat for me. All right, and here we go. Here we go. This is it, building stable, attuned relationships. And it did give us 4 pages. All right. And this is a paper. It actually gave us some additional things as well that we can use here. Okay. So implementation of guidelines, it gave us that. So these are just supporting documents. And as you can see, they're very professional. Now, you can use this same prompt if you want to, and you can create this. You can call me in to help you create some additional things, or you can play around with the tool yourself. It has been a pleasure working with you today. Thank you for tuning into this video. If you'd like to see more information about how you can crack the communication code, stay tuned for the next video. Bye.